Let's get it. Oh yeah, let's get it. Dagger looks nice, man.
Welcome to the Warriors Den, everybody. I'm so excited. We got season reveal today. Year 6, Season 3, coming to you September 15th. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us today to be a part of this reveal. Thank you, Josh, for joining me as a co-host, fully embodied host equals. So quick note, we won't always be live for the Warriors Den, as you had probably noticed. This one's pre-recorded, but we are going to try and do lives when we can. Just a lot of logistics involved. So we'll be live when we can, and when we're not, we'll be pre-recorded. So that's life. Quick note, if you didn't catch UB Forward this weekend, it was the 10th. You can catch the VOD on the Ubisoft channel. And yeah, otherwise, I think we're going to get into it. But before we do, we are dropping some things upon the Twitch peoples. Josh, what can people expect to get dropped today?
Well, get your inboxes ready, folks, because we are doing drops. But before we get to them, just make sure that your Ubisoft and your Twitch accounts are linked. That way you can actually receive the rewards. And today we are giving away the following. For every 30 minutes of accumulated viewing time, you will receive 1 scavenger crate, and you have a chance to win 100,000 steel, Brian. How much steel do you have?
I don't want to talk about it. It's an embarrassment. But what I do want to talk about is the next segment. But before we can get into all the nitty-gritty deets about Year 6 Season 3, we are proud to show you the Year 6 Season 3 launch trailer. For those of you who didn't already see it, at UB Forward. So strap in, buckle up, here we go.
Blood and gore.
As a child, I was taught never to fear the dark, to face my enemies with gritted teeth and a steady grip on my blade. But now, my hands tremble. Something has awakened in the mire. Glowing eyes watch in the night. Shadows slither through the woods, and twisted cackles taunt us. Brave samurai venture into the swamps. But what comes back? It isn't them. A deadly web has been woven, and there is no escape. My teachings were wrong.
Man, looks scared.
Only fools don't fear the dark.
Dagger. They need to give us our next gen consoles, all our frames, man. 120. We go to the PC folk.
Warriors, what an amazing trailer. Welcome to Year 6, Season 3, also known as the Demon Dagger. Sorry, I wasn't planning on doing that, but I did it anyway. But talk about Year 6, Season 3 and everything that we have going on. We have a wonderful cast of For Honor people that you know and love. Stefan, Ian, Anastasia, and Julian are here to talk about Year 6, Season 3. Stefan, we'll start off with you. Welcome to the show. How's it going?
Thank you very much. It's doing great. I'm looking forward to talking about all this stuff. How are you?
Me too, and I am doing well. Ian, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Thanks for having me again, man. I'm pumped. It's my favorite time of year, spooky season, spooky themes. I'm all here for it.
Same. Anastasia, welcome to the show. Are you too a fan of spooky season?
Yeah. Hi. I'm a big fan of horror and spooky.
Well, we're gonna get a lot of that this season. Julian, welcome to the show as well, man. How you doing?
Hey, Josh.
Sly, welcome to the show.
Glad to be back.
Glad to have you and glad to have everyone here. So we are breaking up the season as we normally do into two TUs, TU1, TU2. First TU starts on September 15th. Stefan, let's go ahead and walk through the TUs and tell people what we can expect, what they can expect this season.
Sure, of course. I mean, as players know so far, we've been telling a story about special relics found throughout Heathmoor. We did the Chalice of Immortality in Season 1. We did the Scarab Bracelet in Season 2. Now we're going to do a Japanese horror season focused on the Demon Dagger. In Season 3, we're going to encounter yokai, kappa, other Japanese mythological demons. It's going to be creepy. Yeah, it's going to be fun. And everyone here and others are going to talk all about it throughout this show. So we're all hyped to talk about the Demon Dagger today. So let's run down these title updates directly. So first up, title update 1. We've got the Battle Pass to launch off the event, of course. And the Yokai Nightmare Event Pass will also launch at the very beginning of the season. So this is going to have all kinds of cool stuff in it that will support the idea of the Demon Dagger and so on. So looking forward to checking that out. Testing Grounds, of course, is up front this season. It's launching off right off the bat, September 15th. You're going to get to talk to JC and others about that as well. And, it's going to be a hero-focused one, so it should be a good one.
Very excited for this one.
Yeah, exactly. And then Hero Fest, you've got October 6th. You've got October 13th. It's going to be Warmonger up first. It's going to be Tiandi up second. Super hype. And then, of course, title update 2 is stacked. So looking forward to talking about that at the next Warriors Den. Set your calendars for October 20 because that's going to be crazy too. You've got the hero skin. We're going to talk all about that. We've got the Halloween event with the Halloween event game mode, which I'm contractually bound not to talk about directly today, but everybody here is laughing because they know, yes, we all want to talk about that, but check it out next time. Armor variations, crossplay.
Is that crossplay phase 2?
It is indeed. It is indeed. Everyone with high hopes and big dreams, that's what it is right there. Crossplay phase 2. We're going to talk about it right after this segment. And Nicola and I are going to get a deep dive on what's in that, but it's probably what you're hoping for. So stick around for a few minutes. And then Hero Fest also coming through this season. There's a second testing ground. This one's going to be a system gameplay improvement focused testing ground. So it should be interesting to have the two through the season. And then throwback, of course, to the Covenant Games Heralds of Chimera, ending off the season at the end of title update 2. Whew.
So much happening this season, and obviously this is just surface level stuff. We haven't even talked about the battle pass. We haven't talked about other stuff that's happening. But before we get to that stuff, Ian, let's go ahead and talk about the inspiration for this season. There's a lot of Japanese imagery and stuff that was featured in the trailer, and obviously with the key art as well. So why don't you go ahead and talk to us about the inspiration for this season?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Stefan said, so far in year 6, we've explored the myths and legends of Heathmoor, starting with the secret history of Wyverndale in Season 1, and then the unleashing of a terrible Egyptian curse in Valkenheim in Season 2. Now, we turn our attention to the mire and a relic called the Demon Dagger, aka the Mamono Dagger, as the samurai deal with a yokai infestation. Now, what are yokai exactly? Well, yokai are creatures and spirits from Japanese folklore. Now, not all of them are necessarily evil or outright demonic by nature, but, this is for honor, and those are the ones we're going to focus on for this season. So, I mean, it's Halloween after all, right? So we're going to focus on the more demonic yokai as they are unleashed in the mire. But I hear you asking, Josh, how do the yokai fit in story-wise? Well, let me tell you. I'm sorry, you didn't even say anything. I'm just talking.
I was thinking it. We have the mind now. That's okay.
So story-wise, a very, very long time ago, the samurai were attacked by a swarm of yokai, demons from a dark realm. And they were heroically pushed back and sealed away in a haunted cave. Now, what happens when years later a crack forms in this cave? Crack, as you can see here in the artwork. Now the yokai are slowly seeping out of this cave, and they begin to haunt the woods and swamps of the mire. And for a samurai, well, they're caught off guard. You know, most know stories of the yokai, but they're just that, they're stories. They don't really know how to fight them, and unfortunately, they figure out that their regular weapons don't have any effect really on these demonic creatures. What they really need is the demon dagger. That's the only weapon known in history that could kill the yokai. But unfortunately, wielding this weapon also comes at a great cost.
There's always a price with these mystical weapons. You had the scarab bracelet, you got locusts and frogs and stuff like that. Nobody necessarily wants that, but now
I think it all dates back to the One Ring, right? You can't just have a mighty weapon of power.
The one dagger to rule them all and kill all of the yokai, or maybe kill all the yokai. You know.
Exactly.
Do some nice ones. But Anastasia, let's go ahead and move on over to you, because when crafting a season, a lot goes on behind the scenes before anything even makes it onto the screen. There's a lot of research, a lot of things that are taken inspiration from throughout the world. So why don't you go ahead and talk to us about the mood board and what the team was really looking for this season?
Yeah, sure. So just a quick reminder. So the first season of this year was very classy fantasy. It's elvish fantasy. The second season was all about Egyptian fantasy and very bright colors. And this one is all about the horror fantasy. So we were focusing on the horror legends of Japan. And the main theme of this season is the yokai, just like Jan said. It's a demonic spirits from the Japanese legends. They are not necessarily evil creatures, but they are possessed people wherever they go. They transforming them and twisting them into some frightening versions of themselves. And in this season, you'll see a lot of elements that was inspired by Japanese folklore, of course. So we use this season the dark colors. It's bloody red, dark green, and a lot of brown and black color. And as for the overall mood, we wanted to bring to this season the horror of Japanese legends, and imagine all this heavy dense fog, and you are alone in the dark, and you don't really see, but you feel like the creatures are hiding behind the trees and in the moody puddles, and they all watching you, and they're all like following you. That was our main inspiration for this season.
Thanks for the nightmares, Anastasia. Really appreciate it. That's nice. That's just nice. I saw something on the mood board that I saw. We took inspiration for. I think it was an ornament that I just absolutely love. It's like the split. Well, I don't want to ruin it. but Julian, let's go ahead and move on over to you for the in-game realization. Obviously, new season comes, new stuff. Obviously, we've got a new main menu, face-off, portrait, all that stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and walk through it.
Absolutely. Well, Josh, for season 23's in-game realization, it's essentially rooted in demonic and evil spirit and the evil spirits facet of the yokai folklore, which, like mentioned by Ian earlier on, it doesn't necessarily relate to demons and things that go bump in the night. But here, the team really wanted to have fun and embody spooky apparitions, frightening creatures, and nightmarish environments. So, of course, the atmosphere is also super important, plays a big part in creating this type of supernatural / horror universe. So along with an awesome surprise that we have in store for you in TU2, we're particularly proud of the lighting, the VFX, the SFX that were created for this season. This yokai experience is going to look and sound amazing. Now, as for the map dressing, aesthetically in the map, the team wanted to blend beauty with horror to create an environment that will give you the creeps, but that at the same time will feel, alluring, mysterious, absorbing. So Temple Garden, the map Temple Garden, was a great foundation for creating this universe. During the Yokai Nightmare event, you're going to have a thick and gloomy fog that blankets the map. But as you navigate the battlefield, you'll also uncover some really captivating yet disturbing sights. One noteworthy element, and Stefan kind of brushed up on it earlier on, there are the Kappa heads in the swamp that you've just seen. Kappas essentially are aquatic reptilian humanoids who live in rivers and streams, essentially bodies of water. They're about the size of a child, but they're physically super strong. So that kind of makes them already kind of terrifying.
I don't want to hear that. We just started talking about like demons and stuff. Now we're talking about man strength Kappa humanoids.
Don't forget reptilian. They are reptilian.
Can't forget that.
The thing about them though is that they can be friendly to humans, although they can also be super dangerous. Just to give you an idea, Josh, their favorite foods are cucumbers and human entrails. So up to you to you get the idea.
We're really going all out this season with the spooky stuff, aren't we? Just real disturbing, Julian. Thank you.
I knew that disturbing. Was I didn't like cucumbers. That's it. That's why.
Never eat a cucumber again.
Yeah, half the team, no more cucumbers after this season. No more cucumbers. But I guess, Josh, during this season, you'll get to find out if the Kappas that we have in the map are friendlies or foes.
All right, and back to Anastasia for more nightmares. Let's go ahead and talk about the Yokai Nightmare free event pass that we have coming with the new season. We've got mood effect, battle outfit, an ornament, and some other cool stuff in there. So let's go ahead and go through it.
Yeah, sure. So as you can see, this mood effect was inspired by the demon flower. And the legend says that the flower blooms in cemeteries and on the road, and they are guiding deceased to their reincarnation. So it's definitely not the flower that you would give to a person you like, right?
Maybe. Depends.
Yeah. Sure. So battle outfit was inspired by traditional Japanese paintings and some woodblock prints. And you see these moody colors. This ornament was inspired by Tengu mask. It's a Japanese demigod, and actually it can bring you luck.
Can you use it as a lethal weapon?
Yeah, sure. Who knows? So here's a sneak peek of the event weapon.
Hammer.
We used a lot of dark metal and dark wood. With some elements that was inspired by traditional Japanese patterns and, of course, demon flower motifs.
Wow, yeah, it looks great. Wow. So yeah, that is the free event pass. We're gonna roll a video later after we're done here, so you can kind of get a look at the weapons and stuff like that. But since we're talking about passes, let's talk about the battle pass that we have coming for Year 6 Season 3, because there is a lot that is in it. I love this image, by the way. That's the thing I was talking about. The little mask, the thing from the mood board. There it is. But yeah, we have a ton of stuff that's in the battle pass as well, Anastasia. So why don't you go ahead and take us through that as well?
Yeah, sure. That's video. So these mood effects was inspired by possession. So here you can see two masks. One represents the human possessed by a demon, but another one, actually, it's opposite. It's a demon possessed by a human. That's this one, yeah.
Nice.
So this battle outfit was inspired by disco because demons likes to party too, I guess.
Exactly. Like a nice little gothic 70s disco murder. Scary party.
For anyone wondering, the demon dance floor is in the 8th circle of hell.
That secret circle, man. Gotta have like a pass to get in.
Yeah. So here's this ornament when the demon is hiding behind this beautiful face, and you can see how it's revealing itself and leaving out this beautiful face.
I love this execution.
The execution Yeah,
I like it.
you can just use this
Looks
card
lit.
as absolution to make your enemies
What is a
severe in your
ninjutsu?
fight.
That's so sick when you're just like, oh man. Let's keep going.
So this one is the most creepy one, signature in our game, I guess. And of course, it's heavily inspired by the Japanese culture.
Very terrifying.
Lore-wise, it would be what the people see first when the yokai first escapes from the cave. Just to add to the spooky effect of the mire.
Yeah.
Very spooky.
So here you can see the weapons, and like all this season, it's all about the demon possession. And our team worked really hard to create these unique textures and carefully design elements. So when you look at these weapons, you can see how it's kind of like moving something inside the weapon. And it's like demons maybe cut inside the weapon, and they are like possessing these weapons. And it's not necessarily evil creatures, so please treat them well. And I hope you'll find the weapon that will bring you luck in this battle and in this horror season.
Absolutely. I'm so enamored by the stuff in the battle pass. But I want to know who was responsible for like the skeleton on like the spider body. That is just like some next level, like, no. That's terrifying. It looks great. That looks awesome. But there you go. Yes, that is year 6, season 3. That is everything you have coming in TU1 and TU2. I want to thank Stefan, Ian, Anastasia, and Julian for joining us today. We've got 2 testing grounds coming this season, one starting with the season and then another one coming, which we will talk about at a later date. But for now, we're going to go and move over to the crossplay update, since I know all of you are very, very curious about, more information on that. But before, we're going to go ahead and roll the free weapons video, and then we're also going to roll the battle pass video as well, so you can go ahead and see all of the cool stuff that's in there. But don't go anywhere, because the show is just getting started. We'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Boy, I hear waving at me on his phone. The weapons. Like, ooh, yeah, my Cirque about to have some wings on his fucking, you know what I'm saying, his axes? Let's go. I like that hammer a lot. Now he's gonna have a side attack. Might have to pick up Yorm. Ooh, look at that. It's beautiful art. For those of you that don't know, I was in Japan for about 5 years, so this is awesome. This is amazing. Jake Diesel. Goki spikes. Wait, they're not wings. Those are like white flames, right? I'm ready for them to talk about this. It's phase 2. Don't get me wrong, I love all the art. I'm ready for phase 2. Let's talk about phase 2, and I hope they give next gen their extra frames, man. They don't have to make a PS5 version yet. I just need the frames. Go toe to toe with this PC focus. And the P5. Yeah, fuck it. I love the weapons. Yo, that looks nice. Oh, that looks nice. Woohoo! These look beastie. That's what's talking about, that spider and that demon face. I love how they like combined these faces in there. Hell yeah. What the hell is this? This look lit. Like wolves? Like demon dogs or something? What weapon is that? Is that a warden? Ooh, Valks. I like the hammer too, again. The warlord. That warlord shit. Ooh, KENSEI. Ooh, he had a whole face in the middle of the sword. There's a Rochi. Little ice picks for Shinobi. A Ramusha. That looks lit. That looks lit. I'd be scared of that. Of course, they hook up the big one. So it's nice, man. Hey, TIANDI. Try not to sneeze, yo. Yeah, they be outdoing themselves. That's fire. Let's go. I'm the most hype about this. I mean, I'm sure a lot of y'all are, but fire. Fire.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. All those Year 6 Season 3 details. I am now joined by Mr. Stefan and Mr. Nicola. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. Well, welcome to my segment of the show. I think Stefan, you were earlier thing.
I will welcome you to the show, Brian.
Oh, thank you. I introed the show. No. But yeah, so crossplay. That's the big thing, right?
Yes.
So excited. Phase 2. Phase 2 crossplay. So Stefan, what can you tell us about Phase 2?
Absolutely. I want to bring us down memory lane just for a moment here before we do. At the very start of Year 6 Season 1, the team brought a big surprise to For Honor that was called Crossplay Phase 1. That was the ability to do matchmaking online through the multiplayer menu. 1 year ago, nobody thought that For Honor was going to get crossplay. We just weren't set up for it. Players didn't think we were. Devs didn't think we were. Nobody thought we were. And of course, Nicolas here, if you tell him and his tech team that something is impossible, 100% they're going to take that personally, and 100% they're going to get it done somehow. So against all odds, there we were at the start of Year 6 with crossplay. So that was amazing. In Phase 1, all 3 pools were brought together. So PlayStation, Xbox, PC were able to play together through online multiplayer menu matchmaking. So this is great. And now, of course, we've got a couple of changes coming to the crossplay offer in Year 6 Season 3 Title Update 1. And some of these are going to lay the groundwork for crossplay Phase 2, which is the big one on October 20th, where we're going to get, I think, what most of us are asking for. So we'll come back to that in a few minutes. Let's start, though, with talking about Title Update 1 crossplay changes, and I'll pass the mic back to you guys and Nicolas.
Yeah, I'm so excited because, you know, when I first came onto the project, it was like, well, people want crossplay, and it was like, yeah, we're not built for that. We never were built for that. And then enter Mr. Nicolas and the tech teams, and they're just like, you know, hold my definitely not ale. So Nicolas, what can you tell us about the groundwork being laid into U1 so that we can bring the full crossplay experience to the Funny Sword game?
Yeah, thanks, Stefan, for the introduction. Indeed, we're adding major changes under the hood and paving the road for the release of Crossplay Phase 2 with the release of T1. So starting in T1, we are completely removing the last peer-to-peer connection which were remaining into the game. So we are migrating everything on servers. So custom matches are now hosted on dedicated server along all other game modes like story, arcade, and training arena. But note that with this server migration for custom match, this will remove the support of NVIDIA and Soul. Unfortunately, this is a key requirement to bring the crossplay Phase 2 in the next title update. On top of that, we also transfer the entire group system on servers. This is very interesting change because it removes all the necessary of NAT internet router configuration to play For Honor with your friends. So it will be easier for everyone who have a specific internet configuration to be able to play and group with people without any complicated NAT configuration. So for that, we removed also the NAT status in game, which is no longer needed.
That's awesome because I've got a lot of friends who have some really insane setups to get around NAT because their ISP just locks down their router. So it's nice that it'll just all be on dedicated servers, so you don't have to mess with that. And I believe Ansel will still be available in like practice mode and the campaign, just not anything that connects to dedicated servers, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. And so, yeah, that's kind of all the peer-to-peer stuff taken care of. But I believe a previous peer-to-peer service that we're bringing back to dedicated servers is voice chat, right?
Yes, Brian. With the launch of T1, we're also reactivating the in-game voice chat for all crossplay matches. So it's a very good achievement on that. And if you're interested, you can also mute and unmute player directly via the action in the player card, like shown in the video.
And so we added a new feature to make all that possible, right? So that you can have more control over the quality of your For Honor like experience.
Yeah, indeed. Finally, with this T1 title update, we'll bring the new in-game block list to more granularly manage your friend list and reduce the toxicity in-game. With this new mechanism, you can block and unblock people directly from the player card. By blocking a player, it will automatically mute their voice chat, it will mute their text chat, and also replace their emblem by a generic one. You will be able to find the block list at the end of the friend list, and later on, with the release of Phase 2 in the TU2 title update, this block list will be improved to support cross-platform friends and bring the ability to block cross-platform group invitation from all blocked players.
But this won't remove them from your friends list, so you can block and unblock your friends, and they'll be a blocked friend until you unblock them, right?
Yeah, that's right. And you have to note also that this block list will not affect the matchmaking. This is not a blacklist, so you will still encounter blocked players in matchmaking, but they will be automatically mute in voice and text, and their emblem will be blocked as well.
The block list is not a blacklist. Let's put it on a t-shirt. So I think that's everything on the slide for T1. So I think it's time to take a bite out of this sandwich. What's coming in TU2?
TU2, this is the big one. It launches October 20th. Put this date in your calendars, please. This is an important date. And the big focus of this title update is the ability to have friends across platform. And of course, if you have friends across platform, this will also mean that you can group with your friends across platforms. And that this means through Ubisoft Connect, you can make friends, group with them, and play For Honor truly cross-platform. Nicolas, this is the big one. Would you like to run us through these?
Yeah, indeed, we leveraged the new Ubisoft Connect interaction with the cross-platform feature. So that was launched a month ago by Ubisoft. So now you can search your friends via Ubisoft Connect. You can open the overlay from your console or PC, or you can launch the website, Ubisoft Connect website, or the mobile application to search and manage your cross-platform friends. Don't forget to use the Ubisoft account ID to search your friends because we are using Ubisoft Connect and they are linked to this account with For Honor.
Don't forget to activate those crossplay settings if for whatever reason you have had them disabled, or else you'll be greeted by a series of tailored error messages telling you that your crossplay is disabled. So did we hit everything with TU2? We got the friends list, we got group invites, right?
To be able to add people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the big thing there is like, as Nicolas explained, if you can make friends across platforms, obviously you should be able to make groups across platforms as well. So from your regular friends list, you can invite anyone to groups as normal, even if they are cross-platform. If you receive a group invite from a friend, you'll see a message in the top right letting you know that group invite is pending. And you can also see them on this friends page on the right side where you have a pending invites list. Currently says group invites as well.
So get the whole squad together, put all our monster mood effects on, and get the mummy from the Magi release, get the monster squad going just in time for Halloween.
Exactly. If you have an Xbox mummy and you have a PlayStation, I don't know, the fish head from a couple years ago or whatever, and so on, some from PC, put them all together. You can totally do this. And you can play online matchmaking, custom game, wherever you want in For Honor. The only two caveats being story mode and arcade are the two places you cannot play cross-platform. We have technical limitations against that. Those aren't going to happen. But everywhere else throughout For Honor, you can play with your friends. So this is amazing.
All right, Team Penny Dreadful, let's do it. All right, a big thank you to the tech teams who worked so hard on this feature and took it as a personal challenge to make it happen. Any last words that you guys want to say, either about the teams, about the feature, how pumped you are for this season?
Yeah, of course, this launch of phase 2 is not the end for us. We will continue to bring some improvement over the time. And we're also waiting for all the interesting feedback reported by our community to improve it in the future. And before leaving, I want to thank everyone who worked tirelessly on it. The entire dev team made an incredible work to bring such a feature into a 6-year-old game, which wasn't designed to support crossplay at launch. So hopes that you will enjoy this new feature and can't wait to see it live with you. So thanks everyone.
So excited for the community to get their hands on this. And thank you, gentlemen, for joining me on the show. Coming up next, we're going to talk some patch notes. So stick around.
Patch notes.
Warriors, welcome back to the show. And to join us for this next segment, we have JC. You know him, you love him. My man, welcome. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing good. What about you?
I'm doing really well, actually.
Awesome.
The sun is shining. We're talking about a new season. We've got stuff to talk about even past this. It'll be very nice. But we are going to talk about patch notes real quick. These are what you can expect come the season, September 15th. And to start off, we're going to talk about dodge attacks. We have some characters in the game that have them, some that don't, but we're bringing them to the ones that don't. So JC, walk us through it.
Yeah, so like we've previously announced when we came back from, I think, the last testing grounds, we're adding new dodge attacks to all 5 of these heroes. So WARMONGER, CENTURION, Blackbriar, Warlord, and Highlander. Max has a video, gorgeous video that show you what the dodge attacks actually look like. So they're, except for Highlander, they're all done with the light attack button. They're all 600 ms. They're all done 300 ms into the dodge. The lights are all enhanced. Highlander is with heavy. Made a bit more sense for Highlander, considering we want him to be like a bit better in defensive stance. For Highlander, they're also only performable while you're in defensive stance. In offensive stance, you have like shorter recoveries for your dodge attacks for when you're dodging, so you're okay. And one thing that's important to note is that they also all have iframes, so that's really good. For all of these heroes, especially everybody but Highlander, you'll notice that they don't have like huge hitboxes, big trajectories, all that sort of stuff. That's because we designed them on purpose to be usable and be good at dealing with bashes specifically, but not necessarily be really, really good dodge attacks in the sense of I'm going to be target swapping them and doing all those crazy things that some heroes are known for. This is literally just to make sure that these heroes are able to efficiently deal with bashes. Even though Blackbriar could from neutral, when you're in chains, you couldn't really go into bulwarks. So that's the idea here. We really want them to be good, but not be the best dodge attacks in the game, so that they're a little bit riskier to use because they're on light inputs most of the time. And so we want to take the direction a little bit so that it makes a bit of sense there.
Awesome. Very excited to be bringing dodge attacks, especially for like Centurion and like Highlander. I've seen a lot of people talking about those many Reddit threads that I have seen. So yeah. So let's move on to hero fight improvements. JC, what do we have here?
Yeah, so we're doing a lot of changes to a lot of heroes this time. It's, I would say, 99% buffs. We really wanted to focus on raising some heroes, getting them to be a bit more meta. Not necessarily be like must picks or whatever, but really focusing a lot on like some quality of life stuff, making sure they're more playable and raising up the bar a little bit. So first we have zone attack cost, right?
See a lot of numbers here. A lot of numbers.
There's a lot of numbers there, right? So I'm not going to go through all of them, but basically all of these heroes have lower stamina cost for their zone attacks. If your hero is not listed, don't worry, we didn't forget about them. We did a lot of changes here, so we're going to get to them eventually. But that's kind of the idea here. We wanted to lower the cost for all of these zone attacks to make sure that you're not wasting half your stamina every time you use them, right? So this is a big buff. Some characters for like Warden, for Zanhu, those are very, very big buffs. For some other heroes, it's still a bit less, but it's still like it's a bit better. And we didn't go with a really completely standard route. We went to it like on a case by case basis, right? So sometimes it's better that they're 30 because they're faster, they have properties. At 20 because they can be fast with no properties. For multi-hit zones as well, we did a lot of changes there to make sure that we're in a good spot here.
Beautiful, lots of numbers, but we also have some specific changes for some heroes that we also want to go through.
Yeah, so for Warden, Warlord, Berserker, Orochi, and Hitokiri, we have like very, very small quality of life things, but still very useful.
Look at Berserker, let's go,
500
baby.
MS,
These
down from 6.
buffs.
That was a no-brainer. Like we should have done that a while ago, so it's good that we have them now. Warlord has updated trajectories and forward movement on for Board and Blade. That's the heavy attack that you do when you're in full block stance. It'll help you catch people that are dodging, step forward a little bit more. You can't really just backwalk it anymore, so that should be quite good there. Berserker has 10 more HP.
Oh wow, look at Hiro's charged heavy.
The hero's trader identity and make him a little bit less squishy, so that should be good. Orochi's side of finishers are now 700 MS, down from 8. The idea here is that we want players to actually use Orochi's side of finishers in group fights. They already have huge trajectories. They're very, very good. But at 800 MS, they were a little bit too slow. So at 7, we're hoping that they're going to be a little more useful. And on top of that, because they are 7, Feint to Guardbreak should be able to catch a bit more things. So I'm really looking forward to see how that pans out for that one. And finally, Hitokiri, his charge heavy attacks now cost 12 stamina. They used to cost 25. Before the CCU, those attacks specifically did not have an additional stamina cost when they were parried. That's why they used to cost 25. Now that all those things are removed, we've decided to like revert that change back, and now they cost 12. Gives a bit more stamina economy for Hitokiri. Should be really good down the line for this hero as well.
There's a lot that's coming with this, but now we have even more deep dive, even more granular just details. We're starting with Peacekeeper.
More. Yeah, more, right? Okay, so Peacekeeper. Peacekeeper, we've adjusted a couple of things. The direct cancel, okay, you can now cancel the recovery into a dodge from 200 to 300 MS. It used to be static at 333, so this should help Peacekeeper actually do more direct cancels and be able to dodge out of it, give her a bit more safety in group fights. And then we have, they're a little bit like, it might be a bit hard to understand right now, but basically what we've been doing for dashing thrust and the throws together is that we adjusted the time that you can perform a dashing thrust when you're doing a front dodge. So it's from 3 to 5, and it used to be static at from 2 to 5, sorry. It used to be static at 3, and throws have a little bit less recovery. The intent here is that you should be able, with a Peacekeeper, to throw somebody, get them to wall splat, and then do a dodge for it heavy every single time without having to worry too much about positioning, timing, and all that sort of stuff. So it should be a lot more consistent to land now. Then we have the only nerf in the entire patch, which is the stabs after a guard break for Peacekeeper. They used to deal 38, which was way too high. So we've adjusted the bleed damage, a bit of how it works there, and it now deals 28. It's still above the curve because you're spending more stamina, you get all that stuff, you get a little bit more stuff there. But at the end of the day, like it's a lot more in line with the rest of the cast. We've also increased our forward movement on every single one of our neutral, chained, and finisher attacks. You used to be able to backwalk her a little bit, and it was like she had a hard time sometimes reaching you. So with these changes, it should be a lot easier for her to really keep the pressure and stay in. We've also updated the trajectory for the zone attacks for the first strike, so that it matches the weapon a lot better. The trajectory is a bit bigger. It's not like it's less angled, so it works better. And finally, this one's a big one. Her crossbow feat, which is her tier 3 feat, it has a pretty short cooldown, and it used to deal 25 damage straight up, right? Which was still good. But now what we've changed it to do is it deals 15 direct damage and 10 bleed damage over 10 seconds. So it still deals 25, but that bleed damage there is super important. It really lets her open up her kit, be able to get those unblockables in, get the synergy with other bleed heroes, and it's a lot easier to land that. You could go like externally, because that's a lot of complaint that players have had, that externally Peacekeeper couldn't really do anything. Now when she has her feat 3, you can actually start to apply a lot more pressure when you're external with her.
Looking forward to playing Peacekeeper, but here we have Lawboy. What are we doing at Lawboy, JC?
Lawboy, right? So Lawbringer doesn't have a ton of changes. Basically, we've done a big pass of adjusting the forward movement on his light attacks, his side heavy attacks. We've updated the weapon trajectories for the side heavies. They should no longer like just phase through some external opponents. That should work much better. And we've also like did a little bit of a pass on the input comfort for the parry follow-ups. So you can now perform them like 66 ms before. And because of that, we've also had to speed up impending riposte, which is the kind of the impale that we have after a parry, so that it would still fit. Basically, those are just two changes that they're meant to be quality of life changes, that it's going to be a little bit easier to do these parry punishes.
Beautiful.
Not bad about it.
All right. KENSEI, right? So KENSEI, all of his changes rely on they all revolve around his top heavy finisher. Um, you could before just always every time you saw unblockable, just roll away and deal with everything. So we've done a couple of changes. The chaining timing for chain lights into top heavy is now 100 ms. The attack itself has been sped up to 1100 ms and now suffers instead of fast guard break. And there's also increased for movement on top heavy finisher. This means that now if your opponents used to roll on reaction to you throwing that top heavy finisher, you can now just hit guard break, catch them with the fast guard break, get them while they're rolling, and it helps KENSEI provide a lot more pressure this way and makes that top heavy finisher much better.
Okay, I like KENSEI.
May have to. I don't really play a ton of KENSEI, so I may have to jump on after these.
Yeah, it's an interesting difference there. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
all right.
Well, I see a lot here for Nobushi.
Yeah, right. So for Nobushi, it looks like a lot, but it's not. You'll see it's relatively simple. We've updated the trajectories for all of his side heavy openers and finishers. Again, they didn't really match the weapon swings, so with this you'll be able to hit people better externally. So that works. Side Cobra Strike, which are side dodge lights, they're now 533 ms. They used to be 6, and they now have iframes. So they're actual good dodge attacks now. They're not. You don't need to delay them and make sure you do them at the right timing when you're dodging or whatever. Now they're always going to be able to have iframes. You're going to be able to do good with them. So that's very good. Their side dodge heavies are also very good, but those didn't get updated because we wanted to have a version of it that was this is the dodge attack thing, and this one is the more zone type of thing. So that's going to be a little bit different there. Front Cobra Strike is now 500 ms instead of 6. And you can do it from 2 to 500 ms in the front dodge. It used to be stuck at 300 there, and it was 600. So with this, it also gives that to be a little bit of a better peel tool. It lets you really delay it and have a little bit better pressure there. We've also updated all of our recovery timings, well, a bunch of them on all those listed attacks. I won't go into them, but we just wanted to normalize her recoveries because some of them were extremely long. So when you would miss, or even if you would hit, if you didn't choose to chain afterwards, you were left wide open with Nobushi, so that's a little bit of quality of life thing there. And finally, her out of luck heavy finisher is now a left stance attack. It used to be top, so now being left means that she can actually throw it in the lane, be able to catch more enemies, more minions and stuff, and makes her a bit better overall in the minion lanes. That should be a nice improvement there.
But wait, there's even more.
There's always more, right?
There's always more.
Centurion. So we've increased the forward movement
Better
for
tracking,
charging
baby.
the openers, basically because Centurion didn't have a lot of reach, and so the pressure that the character could deal from externally was not that good, honestly. On top of that, that's a really good pin. So you get your opponent, you pin them for a long time, you get a guaranteed ally heavy, works super well, so that's good. So with that bit of extra forward movement, it should help Centurion actually get into that groove a little bit better. And we've also changed Charge Punch. So we give it the Warden treatment, right? Which means that whenever you do a Charge Punch, if you fully charge it and your opponent did an early dodge attack, you should now pretty much always catch them, kind of like what Warden does.
That's how it should be.
It was a bit of a problem now where you could some characters were able to fully avoid it. So with that change, we should be good to go in this change. So it has better tracking. It's a little bit faster. Actually, it's
looking
faster.
Forward to playing the Roman.
The armor kicks in a little bit earlier as well to make sure you get into
the
a
badass
situation.
Man. I just didn't like his kit
Nice. And then up next we have the Gladiator.
Gladiator. Small change for Gladiator again, but still, front and side sucker punches now cost 12 stamina. They used to cost 24, I think, which was an insane number. On top of that, because they cost so much stamina and they don't guarantee direct damage afterwards, we felt it really was time for Gladiator to have a better side dodge bash. And we also increased the input window for counter jab, which is basically after you parry and you hit guard break. We increased the window by 400 milliseconds. It's huge. It makes a big difference here. It should be much better here. Should the input comfort, you have a lot bigger window to hit the button, so that should feel much better here for Gladiator.
Shaman.
Ooh, my favorite carnivore.
Yeah, Shaman, right? So Shaman has a couple of changes. Her heavy finishers have a bit more forward movement. Again, one of those heroes that was a bit lacking there. So target swapping or even against the same target, sometimes you could backwalk. It was a bit hard to really catch up to opponents. So with this, it should be it should feel better. At least it's not a massive increase, right? But it still makes a bit of a difference here. Her left heavy finisher is now 900 MS. It used to be, I think, 1,000 or 1,100. I'm not sure, but you used to be able to, on reaction, see unblockable, and then your opponent would just hit light and beat you out of it every single time. Now at 900, if your opponent mashes light after you perform the light, so Shaman does light into left heavy finisher, and your opponent mashes light in between, you're gonna trade with Shaman. This means that Shaman's gonna win the trade because she deals a lot more damage with those heavy finishers than a neutral light. But still, it's something that we're trying out here where
I mess with it.
Yeah, it's still interruptible, but at the same time, it's a trade where Shaman wins. So we want to see where that goes in that aspect.
I mess with it.
We've also lowered Predator's Hunger's stamina cost to 12. So that makes it, like, again, it helps with the stamina economy. And we've also removed the stamina penalty when you're switching from Wildcat's Rage, which was Dodge Forward Bash. Actually, no, that's Dodge Forward Heavy, and Predator's Mercy and Hunger, which are Dodge Forward Bash, right? So the idea here is that Dodge Forward or Dodge Back is that you could do like Dodge Forward Heavy and then tap GUARDBREAK while that was going. She stops, puts her weapons away, and then keeps going forward. So you could switch between the two kind of different attacks. But when doing that, it would actually cost you stamina. And so because you've already paid the stamina upfront once, we felt like that wasn't really necessary anymore. So we've decided to remove it. Gives her, again, better stamina economy.
It's a lot more pressure.
So you should be more free to be able to use that little bit.
And I mean, I'm not complaining because that's good. You're gonna keep her on the top chain.
All right, Black Prior, right? So we've increased Tenebrous Trust for movement, so that Dodge Forward Heavy. We really wanted to be able to catch more people. So this should be. It might not still be the best roll catching tool or whatever, but at least with that bit of increased movement, you should be able to catch people from a bit further away. So that should help. His sprint attack is now 700 MS. Used to be much slower, dealt a lot more damage, but because of the speed it had, it was completely useless. Like, it's sad to say, but it really wasn't good. So at that speed now, with that damage, it's a lot more in line with what other sprint attacks are. So that should work quite well. And finally, Bulwark Slash. We've lowered its GUARDBREAK vulnerability to 100 MS, right? So that's gonna be similar to like Kyoshin and some other heroes that can attack out of their down stance. And the big thing here is that beforehand, if you were against a Black Prior and you went to down stance, you had a guaranteed GUARDBREAK every single time, because reacting to that down stance, Black Prior didn't have anything he could do to actually beat that GUARDBREAK. So now Black Prior does down and then heavy right away. If you try to GUARDBREAK, you're gonna get hit by that heavy unblockable. So it gives Black Prior a little bit more safety here. Lets him use that attack a little bit more often, and makes him a little bit more vulnerable as well in these kinds of situations.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Warmonger, right? So Warmonger. Heavy finisher, the Warmonger.
Nice.
Yeah. So her heavy finisher is now gained uninterruptible stance. That's armor for people at 100 MS. It used to be much later. This is to be like a lot more in line with other heroes we've been doing that have that type of armor in their finishers. Should let her trade with dodge attacks a lot better. Give her a lot more safety in group fights. Let her land those heavies. That's very good. And then we've done changes to Praying Claw. So Praying Claw used to be just a regular bash, didn't really do anything. Slashes you with her claws. So what we've done is that Praying Claw itself now deals 8 bleed damage up front, but to compensate, we've lowered the damage of the stab and the slash, so light and heavy follow-ups, by 8, so that you still deal the same amount of damage when you're doing those follow-ups, but at least you're gonna get a little bit of bleed off of the claw itself. Helps you synergize with like the bleed heroes, so like Nobushi, Shaman, Peacekeeper, all that sort of stuff. So we're hoping that it'll give her a little bit more utility, maybe create some new team comps, and at the same time make the hero just better in general, having a little bit more upfront damage.
Nice. And then we save the best for last, of course.
GRYPHON, yeah.
Daddy.
Yeah, right. So GRYPHON, again, Veteran's Lessons, which is the heavy finishers. They gain uninterruptible stance at 100 MS, down from 5. Again, it's to be able to trade better, have more safety in group fights. That works quite well. And we've also done some changes to Mind Cleaver, which is side dodge heavies. So the miss recoveries are a little bit faster, and you now gain defense at 500 MS, so it makes them a lot safer, right? Whenever you do them, you would be left wide open for a super long period of time. So now target swapping those attacks in group fights should work way better, should have more effectiveness. So that's kind of the idea here for GRYPHON. So that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, I believe so. that was a lot that we covered. And like, you know, if you want to go back and read some other things, or if there's anything that you missed, you can always go ahead and read the patch notes over on our website. And we'll make sure we have everything there listed and everything all nice and tidy for you. But JC, how you feeling?
I'm feeling really good. Like, honestly, this is really cool. And there's one more thing I'd like to announce really quickly. We're aware that a lot of players are asking for Jormungandr rework. And I can confirm when it's coming in a testing grounds. Not for this season, unfortunately, because we're taking our time with him. We want to make sure that we get to the right spot with the hero and present something that's going to make a lot more sense. So it'll be coming up, not in this season, in the future. But we have not forgotten about you, Yorm players. Definitely not. We know a lot of players love the hero, love the faction, love everything about the hero. It's super cool. We love him too. And sometimes, like, you know, things change, and we want to make sure that we get want to find the right direction for the hero. So we're taking a little bit more time with it. Nice. But still, we're going to get there. It should be super awesome.
All right, so Yorm rework is coming in future. We will obviously update whenever we are ready to talk about it. But you just talked a lot about patch notes, so grab some water. I'm gonna grab Alex for the testing ground segment. So you watching, don't go anywhere. I'm gonna be right back.
All right, thanks.
Testing ground.
Warriors, welcome back to the show. JC, how you doing? How you doing?
Pretty good. Still, you know, hanging on, so it's all good.
Got your water, you hydrated, feeling good?
Yeah, got everything I need.
Awesome, because we're about to be talking about testing grounds. So this is going to be a good one. So testing grounds will be launching with the launch of the Demon Dagger on September 15th, going all the way until September 22nd. So you've got a nice long week to go ahead and test out all of the changes. And JC, we're actually doing some pretty interesting changes. We're doing 2 reworks and then a combat change. So go ahead and walk us through it.
Yeah, so we're doing a rework for Valkyrie, a rework for Tiandi, and also we're testing out some changes to counter GUARDBREAK. See how that feels. I'm super hyped for it.
Leave GUARDBREAK alone.
Really interesting.
Same here. So we've been doing something a little bit different with our testing ground segments on the Den. JC and Alex have created a video showcasing the reworks, going in depth with them, talking about them, and we're gonna go ahead and let that roll. And then we'll come back, give our final thoughts, and continue on the show. So, JC, you ready?
Yep.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. Hello, everybody. So today we're going to be looking at changes.
Two of my favorite characters
coming to the testing grounds.
I love that. Tiandi's my favorite.
Tiandi changes and counter GUARDBREAK changes. So first up, we're going to start with Valkyrie. So Valkyrie is one of our older heroes. She doesn't have that much offense. A lot of her stuff can be dodged on one timing. Sweep doesn't really work. And so we're really trying to give her better openers, and also to give her better pressure and offense in general. And for that, we're going to start with Shield Crush and Shield Tackle. So we've actually removed Shield Crush in this testing rounds and replaced it with Shield Tackle. And you can no longer do Shield Tackle from back dodge, right? So right now I just did back dodge and GUARDBREAK. You can't do it anymore from this, but you can now do it from front dodge instead. So if you do heavy, you can soft feint into Shield Tackle. You can do zone, soft feint into Shield Tackle. Wait, it didn't work there. There we go. So everywhere where you could use Shield Crush, you can now use Shield Tackle instead. Shield Tackle also now guarantees a light when it lands. It still blocks attacks like before. So there we go. You can also now dodge out of it. So that gives you a little bit more defensive options. So that's quite interesting. And what's also cool with it is that now we have a new kind of mix-up that we've never really had before, which is if your opponent thinks that you're going to Shield Tackle, they can just GUARDBREAK and to try to beat your Shield Tackle attempt, right? There you go. So that works. But if I let my heavy go and they attempt to GUARDBREAK, my heavy is going to land instead. So we're really trying to do something a little bit different here that has more impact on Valkyrie, gives her a better reason to use Shield Tackle, and it's kind of like using maybe like a charge attack as a soft feint or something. So it's kind of interesting, and it really pushes a attack while you're defending and defend while you're attacking mindset that we really wanted to have for Valkyrie. That's super different. It feels really cool. I can't wait for people to try it out. And other thing to know is that, as usual, that light that you have here leads to sweep, leads to everything. Basically, it counts as a second hit in the chain. So using that, you can really go into your sweep a lot more often and have those mix-ups work quite well. So speaking of sweep, it is now 500 milliseconds instead of 6. Should make it a lot less reactable. Should work quite much better. It no longer unbalances allies or multiple opponents, so it only really unbalances the character you are locked onto. We made that change because we have to choose between one or the other, and unbalancing allies made so that ganking when you're using sweep was much more difficult because you risked unbalancing your friends and your allies, and then they couldn't get guaranteed damage on top of it, so that made a difference here. And last but not least, the sweep follow-up is now frame advantage, right? So now if I mash light and my opponent mashes light, see, as you see here, I was able to hit them almost on the way coming back up. They can still block, right? So if I go at top light here, it's still blockable, but I have frame advantage. So it lets Valkyrie really keep the offense up. Using sweep in 1v1 situations will really help you, and keeping that frame advantage really helps Valkyrie in this position. Then we have Pouncing Thrust and Hunter Strike. So Pouncing Thrust has more range now, a lot more range. So that's quite good. And they're now all enhanced as well. So as you see here, like that's really, like, you're going to get interrupted on block. Lets Valkyrie really go further into her chains, be able to sweep, really initiate a lot more. Her side dodge lights, so Pouncing Thrusts now have more forward movement as well. So they used to be quite bad, like they didn't really hit forward much. She didn't really move a lot. So with this, you really have a lot more forward movement. They also have more side movement, right? So if you do it like this, she moves more to the side, so that's good. And they also now have proper iframes. It's kind of hard to show here, but the idea is that with those iframes, let's go like this, yeah. It makes it a lot easier for you to be able to dodge and properly do dodge attacks with this in group fights and all that different situations, so it works quite well. Then we have something for attacks. So all of her heavy attacks have more forward movement now. It doesn't really show, but one of the big things that used to happen is if you did a side light, a left light into heavy feint to guard break, it wouldn't work. You couldn't catch people because they didn't have enough forward movement. So now that those heavies have more forward movement, you reach forward a lot more, you're able to target swap, hit more opponents, works quite well. We've also updated all the trajectories on her side heavies, both neutral, chained, and finishers, to be able to hit external opponents much better. We've also slowed down the top light and chains and her finishers to 500 ms, right? So they used to be 4. So these used to be 400 ms, and the problem that we run into this is that at low level, 400 ms lights are really hard to work with. Already 500 are a little bit hard to react to for a lot of players, and we want players to at least have a chance to be able to block sometimes, right? But then when they're 400, it's a lot harder, and then at high level, the players are good enough that they're able to block top, and then if it's a side, they react and block the side, and if it's not a side, they just keep blocking top, and they still block it. So that didn't work either. So with everything at 500, it incentivizes Valkyrie to do more heavies, do more into the shield tackle type of things, but still be able to use them and not be as frustrating at low level. Last but not least, in terms of attacks, we've also normalized recoveries of all of our chain attacks to be between 700 and 800 ms everywhere. It's a bit of a quality of life change, but it really helps Valkyrie be a little bit more safe in group fights and when outnumbered. We also have zone attack. So the trajectory for the first step for zone attack is now 500 ms instead of 6. Nice. So that makes a big difference. It makes it a lot more usable. And we've also updated the trajectories for both hits. Again, so they match the weapon better. You can hit more people externally and have a lot more control over fights with this.
Nice.
And finally, the last change we want to look at Valkyrie is Hunter's Rush, which is a sprint attack. So Valkyrie's sprint attack now initiates chains. So you can go Hunter's Rush into heavy, this, and so you can do all sorts of stuff with it. So it really helps her initiate when out of lock a lot better, using her sprint attack to get into her chains and let her initiate some more. So that's it for Valkyrie. Next up, we're going to look at Tiandi.
Oh boy.
Okay, so now let's look at Tiandi, right? So for Tiandi, we really want to focus on the dodge specialist aspect of the hero, as well as improving the hero's offense. Like Tiandi had like some limited dodge cancels here and there. It really didn't live up to the dodge specialist name. And on top of that, his offense was a little bit lacking. It was difficult to open up people and get into the groove and really have proper offense with the hero. So we're looking at those two main aspects. So first up, we have flow like water, basically recovery cancels. So TIANDI can now recovery cancel every single attack into a dodge at 300 MS, right? So you can do light into a dodge. You can do heavy into another heavy into a dodge if you want. You can even do it off of like Palm Strike or Dragon Kick that we're going to look into a little bit later. So essentially, we really wanted to have TIANDI be able to really be a good specialist into having dodge cancels. They're a little bit slower than other dodge cancels. They're being at 3, Pirate and Orochi are at 2, and Xanu is at 3. So we're really trying to like find a little different common ground for these, but this is really interesting. Works quite well and gives a lot of.
Give me my 200.
Next up we have Palm Strike. So Palm Strike used to be on Backwalk and Guard Break. We've actually now put it on Front Dodge Guard Break instead. The reason for that being that at low level, the back guard break attacks are a little bit problematic because they're really hard to react to at low level, but they're also fully reactable at high level, and so that makes them not very good. They're okay as interrupt tools, kinda, but not really. So we really wanted to have it to be in a much more standardized position. So from front dodge guard break works quite well. And the other cool thing with that is that because it's now in front dodge, you can do interesting mix-ups like dodge cancels your attack into palm strike, reset your chain, keep going to what you have. So TIANDI really goes much further with this. It might look like a strange change for some, but we really feel that having that off of that dodge really opens up TIANDI quite a bit. We've also removed the unique follow-up it had. So when you do on live, when you do a palm strike, you used to have a heavy follow-up that was armored, top only. You could target swap, but it was a bit weird. And the problem with that move was that because it had like strange properties where it couldn't be parried. If the palm strike landed and you did that heavy against your opponent, the opponent that the palm strike landed on, that attack was unparryable. So that was kind of hard to read. And the other real niche move that it had was that it could kind of trade with dodge attacks if somebody was doing a dodge attack against your palm strike, for example. But because you now have access to both dodge cancels here, if you want to dodge attack somebody who dodged it, then you can do that. And you can also, if you still want that armor somewhere, you can dodge cancel a dodge for it heavy, which still has armor. So you can do palm, target swap, dodge for it heavy, and do all that sort of thing. So that still works quite well. So we really felt like that specific attack was no longer necessary, as it forced TIANDI down a very specific path that we didn't want. And the last thing that we have with palm strike is that actually it now leads to heavy finishers. And you can change your stances to as well. So you can do like a left heavy finisher, right heavy finisher, same for lights. So now you can actually do this and hit somebody on the side with a trajectory if you like. Whereas before that was completely impossible. So we really want to give like TIANDI a lot more viability in those outnumbered situations, be able to use those side heavy finishers, hit people externally and get into that move. So next up we have Dragon Kick, right? So Dragon Kick was a bit of a weird move in that, yeah, you could kind of ledge with it. You can like push somebody into a wall and maybe get a follow-up. Maybe luckily get it, like land a kick on somebody, lands next one of your allies, they get a heavy on him. But it's still, like in most situations, it was actually better for the defender to just get hit by the Dragon Kick or react to KENSEI doing, to TIANDI rather, doing a soft feint dodge or whatever. So we've done two things to really help remedy this, right? So Dragon Kick can now be feinted. So you can just straight up feint Dragon Kick and go for a guard break if you like to catch dodge attempts. And it also now a dedicated follow-up on heavy attack, so that every time you do land a Dragon Kick, you do get a heavy attack afterwards.
Yes.
So now there's an incentive for your opponent to actually want to try to deal with it and do something instead of just taking it and just taking no damage or very low damage. So we really tried to get Dragon Kick to be a much more threatening move for TIANDI. And then we now have side dragon dodges. So they used to be 1100 MS, so that's super slow. They couldn't, like, it was really difficult to really punish bashes and like faster attacks with side dragon dodges, side dodge heavies, for example, because the problem that we started having is that because it's so slow, a lot of bashes could just miss. You would do that move, and then your opponent will be able to block in time almost every single time. With them being faster, they're now 800 MS, so they should be able to catch a lot more bashes when you dodge them at the right timing. But to do that, we also remove the extended dodge properties. Because it's faster, having extended dodge properties on that move is kind of crazy. You were able to like side dodge quite a bit. It was super, super strong. We've also lowered the side movement a little bit. It's still good, but it's a little bit less. But as Alex in front of me was graciously playing with me right now to show you the changes, showed you can still soft feint it right into a dodge. So, and you can still feint the attack as well. So it's not like the move changed a little bit. You can still use it in a lot of situations, but it should now be actually useful at beating bashes. And like we've seen, you can do like really, really crazy shenanigans where you do side dodge heavy into a front dodge palm, into a lot of stuff. So again, this really opens up TIANDI quite a bit to do a lot of crazy, interesting shenanigans there and go there. So the last things we want to look at are quality of life changes on TIANDI. So first up is finishers on when you're out of lock are now side attacks. They used to be top, so you can do heavy there. So that should help TIANDI get a much better minion clear without having to resort to having like dodge cancels or sort of stuff. You can now go and just mash heavies on the side and be able to get better lane clearing abilities. We've also improved the trajectories for the side heavy finishers. It's kind of hard to show right now, but they're way better at catching external opponents. Again, they match the weapon better as well, so it's a big improvement there for TIANDI. And we've also removed all the stamina damage and stamina pauses on all of his bashes, so on Palm, on Dragon Kick. There's no longer stamina damage or pause. We also removed the stun on Dragon Kick because it didn't really do anything. So it's a lot of like small changes for quality of life, and then the other changes which don't seem like much, but really, really, really help the character feel a lot like have much better flow, better offense, better defense. So hopefully the character is going to be much, much stronger in the future. So now we're going to look at counter guard break changes. All right, so now we're going to look at counter guard break changes finally. So we've done a small change where whenever you counter guard break, you now have frame advantage for 1 frame, right? And we also push opponents a little bit less far. So I'm going to guard break Alex here. You can counter guard break, right? So we're pushed a little bit less far, but also the person that did the counter guard break has frame advantage for 1 frame. That might not seem like a big change, but what it does do is that, let's say I'm going to guard break Alex, he's going to counter guard break, and then I'm going to mash guard break, and he's going to throw a heavy, and let's see what happens. See, so on live right now, so you saw that I did a guard break, I fully buffered it. My guard break bounced, and the heavy landed, right? So what this does is that 1 frame of frame advantage lets your opponent, lets the person that did the counter guard break, throw out anything but a light or a guard break. You can do like other options, but basically the idea is that like right now on live, whenever somebody guard breaks, if your opponent counter guard breaks, the only thing either player can do is throw a light, because guard break will catch anything else. It'll catch heavies, it'll catch dodges, it'll catch absolutely everything. And so it makes it that you end up becoming very, very predictable, and guard break becomes a very, very good tool to really stop offense here. Whereas now, when you manage to successfully counter guard break, you have more options. It doesn't mean that you don't get guaranteed damage or anything, but you have more options. It makes you less predictable, and so it doesn't make sure that you're always going to throw a light, that then you know it's a light, so you can always parry it, and you get into that route where, especially at a high level, guard breaks were becoming a problem, and people would just like mash guard break all the time, and the only thing you could really do is either light or guard break, and it didn't quite work. So with this change, you can really land heavies afterwards. You can do a lot of different things. And the other thing you can do is that we'll show it with Alex right now. If I throw a guard break and he counter guard breaks, I'm going to try to back roll, and you'll see that he can mash guard break to actually catch my back roll. So let's look at it this way. See, so I tried to back roll here, and his guard break caught me. So it means that it's much harder to defend yourself,
so you won't run
with
away
a dodge with different options after your opponent counters your guard break. We did this so we want to have guard breaks still be useful in the game, right? They're still very good. They still guarantee heavies. None of that changed. But we want it to be that there is a little bit of risk associated to it, and the person that actually successfully defended has a bit more of an advantage here. So that's going to be it for testing grounds. I really want to give a big shout out to Alex. Unfortunately, he can only be my body bag right now. So, but thank you very much. We had technical issues where he couldn't join the video with me and be on the audio call.
We'll see how it is in testing grounds, though.
To be there with me so we can record this session.
I'm excited for Tiandi and Valk, both of them.
We'll see you guys back in the Warriors then.
Gotta pull out my Tiandi out of retirement.
And there we have it, JC. Thank you so much to you and Alex for being able to go through that. Everything looks super awesome. Do you have like any final thoughts that you want to share before we move on?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm super excited for people to try this out. I know we're trying new things with Valkyries that should be really interesting there, and the Conor GRYPHON stuff too. And I'm really psyched for all of this stuff. I just want to say again, I mentioned it in the video, but I want to reiterate it. A big thank you to Alex. Unfortunately, we had some technical issues. He couldn't be with me on video and with audio when we were recording, but he was still in front of me fighting, and we were like talking to each other at the same time. So that was all good. So thanks very much, Alex, and I look forward to getting everybody's feedback.
Oh yes, definitely. Feedback's gonna be a huge thing, part of the testing grounds, as it always is. We are gonna be putting together a survey for the testing grounds. So once it's up, you see it on the Reddit. Definitely be sure to get your thoughts in throughout the testing grounds, not just in the beginning. We want to obviously see how your feedback progresses and stuff like that. So JC, Alex, thank you so much for going over the testing grounds. Super excited for everyone to try the changes out on September 15th. And you sitting in that chair or in the car or doing whatever, don't go anywhere, because up next we'll be back with Brian and two very special guests for a competitive update. So we'll see you.
All right.
Pending. I wasn't gonna do the whole video, but now I'm curious. Competitive update. Y'all doing leagues? Tournaments? Come on now. Is there money involved? There's money involved.
Salutations, everyone. Welcome to Into the Fray
I did one of these.
for the year 2022. We're back, 2 years in the making.
Nice flip, kills one, gets the other one low, and gank.
2 down for Wu-Tan, flash break!
Beautiful deep leg.
This could be it!
Oh, what a gank!
Let's go!
Oh my god!
Clean as a whistle!
Lone Raider in B.
Yo!
The drop attack!
Yeah,
I was like, there's no way that's gonna reach.
And a mistake you cannot afford to make as we play games. They wasted
so
much.
Oh Ooh! Comes out of the full block just in time to grab the light parry. Jungle liner breaking break and run as quick as they can.
Oh,
C-point gets grabbed.
Range on this clip.
Discipline there from Shiggy Bees. Deflect as well on the recovery. Let's go!
Roach is gonna be more of a demon now. Oh damn! He got his hands killed.
However, finisher heavies for Nusha are incredibly rare to hit. Although I say that, you get one immediately. Noir wants to go for the setup. He gets it.
Ooh, if it's a reverse scoreboard, he's doing really well right here.
Oh, yep. Oh, good power surprise, send me down.
No, for sure. Flat Rose Legion threatening a one. No!
Oh,
he blew himself up.
Minions then blow someone up.
Oh no!
Oh, going to Suplex City.
Setmix does have it unlocked on me, and I believe that was already used a while ago. That's a catapult! What the? This is it! They just need to kill Vision!
They've got it! They somehow managed to clutch it out in the end and to win the first place of Into the Fray. What an incredible end to our tournament, ladies and gentlemen. Auto Hockey are your victors here today.
America's #1, baby. It's number 1.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that tasty testing grounds section that we just had. We are joined now by Mr. Nutella and the Filthy Spaniard to talk about competitive. Welcome to the show, y'all. Thanks for showing up and joining us.
Well, thanks you very much for having us.
So I guess right out of the gate, since we're going to be talking about Into the Fray, why don't we give a quick recap of what we do in Into the Fray, what the game mode is.
Yep, so we have just finished the Into the Fray 2022 tournament series. Last month, we had it every weekend for a month. It was a 4v4 Dominion tournament on all platforms, with split into 2 groups, a amateur group and a pro group. So we had 3 tournaments in 2 parts each for the amateurs, so amateur PC 1 and 2, 2 on Xbox, 2 on PlayStation, and then we also had a final pro tournament, which is a round robin for PC pros.
So 3 tournaments, 1 for each platform, right?
Yeah, more like 6
split into 2, or
1
yeah,
for each platform.
2
for each platform.
2 per platform, 6 in total.
Yeah, maths
console,
or
PC. Yeah. So yeah, and we had like a great turnout, right? We had a bunch of casters there.
Yeah, we had first off, I've got to say a big thanks to all the casters who joined us. We had a whole bunch of amazing people, not only Verbalocity and Vivid Naz heading up the pro broadcast. Verbalocity was on all of the broadcasts, and we had a bunch of guest casters: Norgos, Marco Yolo, Normie, Freeze, Cobra, King Angelus, Jones, and myself. I appeared a few times, until Verb kicked me out of the casting booth for making inappropriate comments.
And gotta love Freeze in there as a caster and an analyst. Everyone's favorite Bond villain. I think we had Normie was also an analyst, right?
Yeah, Normie did analyst for the pro tournament. Yeah, it was really good to have his expertise on the show. He did a great job, and I think we all enjoyed it. And yeah, we had a bunch of players. I think it was over 600 players entered the tournaments overall, and it went really well. I think everybody who took part said they had a great time, apart from a few rule breakers. But what can we do about those guys?
They always think they're gonna get away with that.
Yeah, they do, but they don't. They don't. We spot them. Exactly.
All my homies hate rule breakers. So give us a quick reminder of how Conquest works for those who maybe are just like, wait, what? The End of the Fray was a thing? What's Conquest?
Right, we want to take it away, Nutella.
Well, Conquest is a format which allows you to win only once with a set of heroes. So you can play 4 heroes, and then once you win that match, you can't play those 4 heroes in that set again. The enemy team can still play those heroes that they played before. And the point of it is to diversify your picks and force you to have a wider range of picks with 8 heroes instead of just 4. We saw people enjoying it more in our chats, and people actually enjoyed playing it more.
Yeah, there were loads of crazy characters we saw. Not crazy characters.
Absolutely.
We saw a lot more heroes than we normally would see in a tournament. I do recall some teams pulled out a Jormungandr in the Xbox finals. That was and Anusha as well. I think those ones they were very confident though. So we did see lots of others.
I thought we'd see more conks in there because you can't spell Conquest without conk. But I was really surprised with the diversity of picks. So. Tell us what's going on with Into the Fray. Like, what's the
results? The results. Well, we have that to show first.
So the results, we had 63 teams turning out for the PC tournament, the first one, with Pretty Amateur taking it and being welcomed into our pro leagues. New Home coming second, OS coming third, and Toxic Waste coming fourth. So big congrats to those people. Then we have the second PC tournament, where we had 39 teams show up, with Silver Guilings taking it and going to our pro league, Astro coming up close, Hillybillies trying their best, and Toxic Waste returning from the previous.
Such a good name.
Yeah, we love the Hillybillies. They're good fun.
Yeah. Then we have our Xbox tournament with 36 teams. We had the Smooth Brains, who are a widely renowned team, and they took it despite their name. They're actually quite smart. Clan Wu-Tang, Ashes number 2, and insert name here, which wasn't confusing for us at all.
Yeah, but it was nice thing about this one is it showed that you didn't require any teamwork or any skill to place in the top 8 teams for an Xbox tournament, which was always nice to see for an amateur tournament.
Savage.
Well, they said it themselves.
Okay, that's fair.
Wow.
I thought you were just coming out swinging.
No, I loved it.
All right, I think we got more though.
Yep.
Next up,
we have more. We have the second Xbox tournament with 26 teams turning out. Zero Requiem taking it and becoming new pros. Infinite Tempo, Wu-Tang Clan. Insert name here, still reprising their 4th place role. And yeah, big congrats to them for trying again.
Shout out to Unga Bunga. What a name.
I think they had a Lawbringer, a guy called Lawbringer Main Bro or somebody, and he was great. We enjoyed watching him.
Then on PlayStation, we had 46 teams, with GMs Are Cringe taking it, Casuals coming second, very closely though. Major Mind Games in 3rd place and Nurses in 4th.
And then it just goes to show light spam isn't always king on PlayStation because they only came 7th.
Yeah, we got more, right?
In our 2nd PlayStation tournament, Casuals took the 1st place, as they wanted to basically win the first time around. They took it the 2nd time. Anna then came 2nd, a pretty strong team. Major Mind Games were 3rd, and Smiley's OP in the 4th spot. We then move over to our pro teams. So we had Autarky, an NA team finally beating out EU, establishing their dominance, showing that NA is in fact better than EU, at least for this tournament.
Yeah, America #1, baby.
Yep. And then we had the Sussex crewmates, who sadly got ejected at the very end playoff. Kung Fu Panda Sheesh, who proved that they were a very strong team, but they sadly couldn't take the 1st or 2nd spot. The Team Killing Service, who even managed to take a round, not even a round, the whole set from Sussex crewmates. And then Pretty Amateur, our previous amateur team, hence the name, who came from the first PC tournament. They placed quite well, coming 5th spot. And
they managed to take a map off every single team they played against, except Sussex crewmates. So they did really, really well.
They gave every team a run for their money. No Worries, who had a very crowd favorite Centurion pick. And then Silver Guilings, which was our 2nd amateur team, who did do decently well, but sadly came really low down. And then GB4 Tier 2, which had to drop out on the 2nd day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Nutella mentions the 2nd day. This tournament we did for the pro one was a slightly different format than our normal one. It was actually a round robin rather than an elimination type bracket. So we have, I think, to show the standings of the total points that the teams got. And as you can see, at the end of the first day, the top 4 teams were all tied with each other on points with 3 wins and 1 loss, which was crazy hype. And on the 2nd day, we ended up having to do 1st place and 3rd place playoffs between the first 2 teams. So it was all really close and really exciting and a great watch. And the VODs are on YouTube on the Discord Dojo channel if you want to catch up.
It's so nice to see it represented like that, because you can just see like, oh, okay, yeah, these 2 are on the same level, those 2 are on the same level, and it's like really tight in there.
Yeah, it was very close, and well, I'm glad you enjoyed the graphics that we made for the tournament.
You're welcome. All right, so I mean that was a lot to go through. If you're not interested in competitive, I'm not going to apologize, because Into the Fray was kind of meant for everyone to get into it. So in that, we had some giveaways to kind of open up interest in it. So why don't we do a quick recap on what this is?
As well as the total prize pool, which was $10,000 of $1,000 for each amateur tournament and $4,000 for the pro tournament. We also had steel prizes for for the amateur tournaments, and every single player who participated is going to be awarded this Might of the Scarab outfit with a really nice battle outfit, ornament, and cool mood effect. Unfortunately, we don't have the rotating Black Prior in this slideshow as we did on the stream, but he was a crowd favorite for certain. This outfit will be given to all the players in, I think, the mid-season patch for this season. So it's not ready just yet, but it's coming out soon, and we will be sending the codes your way. And also, we gave some away as well. Yeah,
I've already used that color palette, and the effect is really nice. And yeah, it's just I was like, this is awesome, because we don't have a terrible lot of like that tan and yellow.
Yeah,
in the options. So
goes well with Medjet. Yeah.
So the fashion expands.
Yeah, you have to compete to get the best fashion. That's
so what? I guess like, what's the future? We want people to give feedback. Like, where did they go? Where did they give us the feedback?
We have not got another tournament yet to announce for Into the Fray, but we are always planning things, always thinking about stuff, and we are going to be putting out some surveys. They might already be out at the time this goes live. To get your feedback, find out what you want, what you enjoyed about the tournaments, what you would like to see changed, what more we can do in future to improve them. And we come along to the Discord Dojo in particular. We will be doing some like feedback sessions there. There's lots of exciting things in the future coming soon, TM.
And just as an additional shout out to the dojo is going to be central to a lot of things competitive this year because we've had Into the Fray, we've got Pro-Ams coming up, which we'll have more info on soon, TM. And so make sure you get involved with the dojo, jump in there, improve on your skill set, find people to match up with and practice against and provide feedback to each other, get updates on the future of Into the Fray, Pro-Ams, and other things when they return that might start with a D and an S. And so join the dojo. Just do it. It's free. It's free real estate.
It's free, and there's some great people there. I've got a big shout out to my boy Rippy and Jones, who did some coaching sessions and watch parties for the for the Interfray. They helped a lot of teams improve and power their way through the tournament. So come along. It's good fun. I like it.
Yep. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the Warriors Den today, you two. It's always fun to get to see and interact and talk with you guys. We had a lot of fun during the live den, so great to see you guys again. Thank you so much for
thank you so much for having us back. It's an absolute.
Yeah. All right, and we will be right back with a wrap up. Let's do it.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
What a show, everybody. Oh, I'm so pumped. Thank you everyone for sticking with us through the whole show. I hope y'all are as pumped and as ready for Year 6 Season 3 as we are.
So much happening this season.
So much. So many heroes got love. I'll mention that in a minute. But the Demon Dagger starting on September 15th.
Just a 2 more days,
and then
13th?
I think after we've got an event. We've got Yokai Nightmare, which is going to be live starting the season launch for 3 weeks. We've got a battle pass. We've got new testing grounds starting on season launch.
Free event pass as well.
Oh yes, free event pass. Cannot forget that. Weapons coming out your ears. But a bunch of changes to a whole slew of heroes are going to be live on season launch as well. We got crossplay news today. We got updates on what's going in to TU1 to lay the groundwork for crossplay, as well as full crossplay. Invite your friends, get spoopy with them October 20th, Phase 2, TU2. I'm super excited for that. So. On October 20th, I'm just all my friends. We're gonna put on all the monster masks. The monster squad is getting back together. But that's not all. I believe we got we got a Hero Fest, right, Josh?
Yeah, we actually have a Hero Fest that's been going on for a little bit. It's gonna be wrapping up with the season launch on September 15th. That's for Shaman. If you aren't able to buy Shaman at the moment and you want to try the hero out for free, the Hero Fest is perfectly for that. And if you decide you like biting necks, you like the fleshy bits of other warriors, you can get the hero for 30% off, and you can log in and get 2 free symbols. And also, along with the Hero Fest, which is I love these, we have a brand new execution called the Bloody Appetite. If you're feasting and hungry for some flesh, 7K Steel can get you that.
Today I learned that Shaman is British, proper British.
Yeah, I don't know which particular British accent that I can envision for Shaman, but it's just right there underneath the surface. So
in addition to Shaman, we got some stuff coming for Pirate. If you remember on the live den, we mentioned that there would be 2 more armor sets coming. So we've got the last 2 missing variations. We've got Prowler, and we've got Prowler alternate right here. You can see the Prowler set, and here is the Prowler alternate. And those will be going in STU as well.
Pirate looks nice.
And then Josh, I believe we have some weekly content, some contents of the week.
Some limited time content of the week. Let's go ahead and get into it. We have an illustrious, she's so nice and pretty. Oh wait, no, she's a demon. Wow.
Some anime stuff.
Yeah. 20K Steel for the Demon Friend Brigade Illustrious outfit. These will be available from September 15th to October 6th. And also, along with this, the Power of the Dagger execution that Orochi is showcasing here for us. Getting nice and deep into that gut. Grabbing all those innards.
All them souls.
All them souls.
10K Steel.
pancake steel for that one.
For that soul-stealing glory.
It's a very nicely made knife. Very efficient at its show.
And then I believe we have some content of the week that's not time limited.
Yes, we actually have one here called the Serene Homestead. It's available for 2K Steel. We have our resident boy showing it off, making it look nice and good for all of our eyes.
I actually really like that pattern, but I'm gonna be picking that up. Like, no cap.
No cap? No cap. Yeah. But also, as if you needed another reason to play the Testing Grounds, we have a Testing Grounds challenge going on. Be the faction with the most Dominion matches played and in the Testing Grounds, and you will receive cool things. Like I said, as if you needed another reason to play the Testing Grounds. Like we're just giving you so much to play on the TG. Very, very nice. Very excited about that. We also have a arcade quest. We have the Rights of the Jormungandr. This is available for weekly Fire owners only, and will be available until September 22nd. And lastly, we have the friend referral. If you got friends and you want them to play For Honor, definitely go ahead and refer them to the game. You can go over to forhonorgame.com/friend referral, and it's, you refer your friends, you get rewards, and you can see some of the rewards here. With how many friends that you kind of invite. So yeah, definitely hop on that because it's still going on. Brian, what else do we have?
I mean, that you pretty much summed it up, man. What a show! What a show! There's so much in here. If you're just joining us late, make sure and go back and watch the VOD because we've got so much stuff coming. We got content coming. We got crossplay phase 2 coming. We've got a bunch of tweaks to like a whole list of heroes. So definitely make sure and check all of that out. And just as a reminder, Year 6 Season 3 starting next week, the 15th. And then don't forget to follow us on all of the social medias, including the Ubisoft TikTok, where you can see more videos like our favorite quirked up white boy, the man of the law himself. Yeah. So follow us on Twitter, Instagram at ForHonorGame and ForHonorGame_US respectively for all the memes and dreams. And follow us right here on Twitch too. Can't forget the Twitch.
Can't forget Twitch.
And I think that's it, right, Josh?
We did it. Year 6, Season 3, man.
Like, wrap up, baby.
It's been revealed. We did it.
No, I'm legit so excited for everything going on. The only thing I'm not excited for is I can't talk about yet, but that's just because I have irrational fears of things. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you again. We'll see you again on the next one. But until then, take care.
Hasta luego, my peeps.